Vanka was a small boy, only 9 years old. 3 months ago, he had been sent to the city to work for a shoemaker, learning to make shoes. It was Christmas Eve. That night, Vanka did not go to sleep. He waited until the shoemaker and his wife and the older workers had all gone out to the church service. Then, when the house was empty and quiet, he took out a bottle of ink and an old rusty pen. He spread a crumpled sheet of paper on the workbench in front of him. His small hands were shaking a little. Before he began to write, he looked nervously at the door and at the dark window, afraid that someone might come back and catch him. Then he looked at the dark picture of a saint on the wall, took a breath, and bent over the paper to write his letter. Vanka was writing to his grandfather, the only family he had left. His grandfather's name was Konstantin Makarich, and he worked as a night watchman on the country estate, far away in the village. As Vanka began to write, "Dear Grandfather," his heart filled with longing. In his mind he could see the old man clearly. His grandfather was a small, thin, lively old man of about 65, always smiling and joking with kind eyes. By day he slept in the servant's kitchen, and by night, wrapped in a big sheepskin coat, he walked around the estate with his wooden rattle to keep watch. 2 dogs always followed him through the snow. Vanka thought of the old man's funny ways, his jokes with the cooks, the way he took snuff. The boy missed him with all his small, lonely heart. As Vanka wrote, his mind drifted home to the village. He could picture the whole winter night so clearly. The sky above the village would be full of bright stars, and the whole world would be white and quiet under the snow. The roofs of the houses would be covered in white, and smoke would rise softly from the chimneys. He remembered how, at this time of year, everything felt fresh and clean and full of light. He thought of the woods nearby, where his grandfather used to take him to cut down a small fir tree for Christmas at the big house. He remembered the cold, the cracking sound of the frozen trees, and the rabbits that ran across the snow. Those memories were warm and happy, and they made the cold city around him feel even colder and more lonely than before. Then Vanka's thoughts came back to his sad life in the city, and he began to beg his grandfather to take him home. He poured out all his troubles onto the paper. He wrote that the day before, his master had beaten him. The shoemaker had grabbed him by the hair and hit him because Vanka had fallen asleep while rocking the master's baby in its cradle. He told how the mistress had pushed a fish in his face for cleaning it the wrong way. The older workers laughed at him and sent him to buy drink for them and told him to steal the master's cucumbers. The food was terrible. Only a little bread in the morning, watery soup at midday, and again only bread at night. He had nowhere proper to sleep, and when the baby cried, he was not allowed to rest at all. Vanka's letter became a cry from the heart. He begged his grandfather to come and take him away from this place. He promised that he would be good. He would clean the old man's boots. He would pray for him, and if he did anything wrong, his grandfather could beat him as much as he liked. He said he would find work, perhaps looking after the sheep. He wrote that his life here was so hard that it was worse than anything, that there was no hope for him at all, and that he was crying as he wrote. He remembered the kind lady, Olga Ignatyevna, who had once given him sweets and when she had nothing else to do, had taught him to read and write and even to dance. His mother had been her servant before she died. Now, Vanka had no one but his grandfather in all the world. As he wrote, Vanka kept stopping to dream. He thought of all the things he wanted to tell his grandfather and all the happy things he remembered. He recalled how his grandfather used to fetch the Christmas tree for the big house, and how the young lady there, Olga Ignatievna, loved Vanka when his mother was still alive. He remembered the fun of those days. Then he thought of the present moment, and how his grandfather was probably standing now by the bright gate of the village church, or joking with the servants. Everything in the village seemed warm and full of life in his memory. Here in the city he was alone, beaten, hungry, and forgotten. He folded the sheet of paper he had filled and pushed it into an envelope that he had bought the day before for 1 kopeck. He thought hard for a moment about the address. Vanka thought for a moment, then dipped his pen and wrote the address on the envelope. He wrote, "To grandfather, in the village." Then he scratched his head and added his grandfather's name, Konstantin Makarich. He was happy that no one had disturbed him while he wrote. He pulled on his cap, and without even stopping to put on his coat, he ran out into the street in his shirt. The shopmen he had asked the day before had told him that letters were dropped into post boxes, and that from there they were carried all over the world in special carriages, pulled by horses with drivers and ringing bells. Vanka hurried to the nearest post box and pushed his precious letter through the narrow opening. He felt full of hope and joy. He was sure that very soon his grandfather would read it and come to save him from his hard life. An hour later, comforted by his sweet hopes, Vanka was fast asleep. In his dream he saw a warm stove in the village. His grandfather sat upon it, swinging his bare feet, reading the letter aloud to the cooks, and nearby walked one of the dogs from the estate, wagging its tail. The boy slept peacefully, smiling, certain that help was coming. But the reader understands what the little boy could not. The letter would never reach anyone. There was no proper address, only to grandfather in the village, and no stamp had been paid. No carriage would carry it. No postman could ever find Konstantin Makarich from such words. The old man would never read it. He would never know how much the child was suffering, or how desperately he longed to come home. Vanka's bright hope was beautiful, and it was completely, quietly hopeless.